From skyrocketing prices and shortages of essential goods to a historic national default, Sri Lankans have endured years of economic chaos. Recent financial woes have even forced out one of the most influential political dynasties to rule Sri Lanka since it gained independence for Britain in 1948. At the height of the country's crisis in 2022, inflation peaked at 70%, and the currency depreciated by 45%. Sri Lanka's future is now in the hands of voters as they head to the polls for one of the most important presidential elections in the island nation's history.
It's a very decisive point in the history, and it could actually make or break the country.
Over 17 million eligible voters will choose who will rule for the next 5 years. So who is in the running? Among 38 candidates, 3 figures stand out. Ranil Wickremesinghe, the incumbent president who is running independently, Sajith Premadasa, the leader of the opposition alliance, Samagijana Balavigaya, and Anra Kumara Disanayak, who represents National People's Power, a coalition of socialist parties.
I think it is going to be a very difficult economic situation to navigate. It's not going to be an easy task for whoever becomes the president.
Wickremesinghe is a veteran politician and 6-time Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. He became leader through a parliamentary vote after former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa fled the country in 2022. While in office, Wickremesinghe negotiated a $2.9 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. Under the deal, national inflation as of August 2024 is 0.5%. That's down from the nearly 70% peak 2 years ago and the lowest level seen in over 20 years. While some see Wickremesinghe as capable of leading the country out of its economic crisis, many remain dissatisfied with the effects of the deal he made with the IMF.
People feel Wickremesinghe has abandoned them in their policy making, especially because the restructuring was left largely financial institutions and banks untouched while they restructured the pension funds of the people, which made him unpopular because it was seen as he touched the money of the poor people while he left the rich people unscathed.
Public frustration with Wickremesinghe has led to a rise in popularity for other candidates. Disanayak's Socialist Coalition, which traditionally backs state intervention and more closed-market economic policies, has been attacking the IMF bailout.
When it comes to Anra Kumara, he promises drastic changes to the IMF program, and I think he wants to, or I would say, almost complete rehaul of the program. And so this is viewed by I think, business people and the academic and some of the experts as a negative actually, because if you change policies when the country is already in a very fragile economic situation, it might disrupt everything that the country has worked for the past 2 years or so.
Meanwhile, Premadasa's policies are somewhere in the middle.
He's saying he would continue with the ongoing IMF program, but with some reforms to lessen the burden on the common people.
Loved by the rural poor for his efforts to improve housing and eradicate poverty, the former Minister of Housing favors a mix of interventionist and free market economic policies. Together, Premadasa and Wickremesinghe command significant support from Tamil minority groups. Both have promised to address the Tamil minority's long-standing demands for better representation. But how will the election affect Sri Lanka's ties with its neighbors? Experts say the outcome could shift the geopolitical balancing act between Sri Lanka and its most powerful neighbors, India and China. Many political observers say Wickremesinghe is an experienced diplomat, known for maintaining amicable relations with nations in conflict. But his pro-India leanings are unmistakable. The potential rise of Disanayak has New Delhi on edge because of his reputation for an anti-India stance and close ties to China.
I believe, given the Marxist and Maoist roots and principles that his party is rooted in, I think he would tend more towards China, I think. If Wickremesinghe or Premadasa wins, I don't think the current diplomatic foreign relations situation will not change drastically.
Amid the tangled web of relations, diplomacy experts say one thing is clear. Regardless of who wins, China will be eager to engage with Sri Lanka's next leader. Beijing has made deep inroads in the country and is not likely to let a change in leadership disrupt its strategic foothold.
Sri Lankans are voting to elect the most powerful person in the country who would decide the next few years, and maybe the contemporary economic history of the country is depending on the policies the new president would choose.